Welcome everyone to the College Connection webinar series. This is our fourth installment, and we're very excited to hear from the College of Agricultural Sciences today. Before we introduce our guest speaker, I'd like to pass on thanks to Nicole Schmidt and Allison Geary with CSU Online. They handle all of the technical stuff that makes this possible. So thank you so much. Appreciate it. And so it's such a joy working with you. I'd also like to thank Eric Ishiwata. Eric is a CSU professor, and he has made funding available through the Office of Engagement and Extension DEI efforts. And that's why we have the simultaneous interpretation. And Ali, thank you so much. You do a phenomenal job and serves our Spanish-speaking audiences across the state of Colorado. Okay, with that, we're going to turn it over to Cambria Wilkin. Cambria is with the College of Agricultural Sciences. Cambria, welcome. We're excited to hear what you have to share with us regarding the oldest college at CSU.
Hello, everybody. My name is Cambria Wilkin. I have the honor of being able to represent the College of Ag today. I am a double major in political science and agricultural literacy. And I am from a small town on the western slope of Colorado, Cortez, very southwest corner, about as far as you can get before you leave the state. Today, the presentation is going to follow a little bit of a roadmap where the first thing we're going to do is talk about some of the programs that the College of Ag offers. Then we're going to move into the undergraduate research that we have available for CSU students. Moving forward, we'll talk about those clubs and organizations, as well as the competitive organizations that the College of Ag offers. We'll round it out talking about our different experiential learning opportunities. There is a lot of them. And then I'll open it up for questions. So first of all, thank you everybody for joining us today, and we'll go ahead and get started. So some of our programs, we are within the College of Ag, we have 11 different majors within 5 departments. So we have the Department of Horticulture and Landscape Architecture, which has our horticulture, environmental horticulture, and landscape architecture, as well as our Department of Soil and Crop Sciences with our soil and crop science major, our Department of Ag Biology with our ag biology major, our Department of Agriculture and Resource Economics with ag business, ag education, and environmental and natural resource economics. Lastly, we have the Department of Animal Science, which has our animal science, equine science, and our brand new major this year, our livestock business management major. Let's dive a little bit into what our horticulture and landscape architecture majors look like. So I have some information up on the screen. I'm not going to read out everything to y'all, but I want to talk a little bit about what it looks like to be a student in an HLA major. So we really focus on challenging students to understand the complexities of both human and community health. So within those 3 majors, you'll see that there's 7 different concentrations. So you can really take this in whatever direction you want to go, whether that is commercial food growing, or our vegetable sciences, or growing flowers, or even working with our turf, or learning how to build. So there's a lot of different ways in which you can take this minor or major. We really try to create natural landscapes that are thriving and healthy for the community and for the individual. And what's great about this program is that you are always outside. You get to learn how to use a bunch of different software, as well as actually getting your hands dirty and learning through doing, which is very important to the College of Ag. Next, I want to talk about the Department of Soil and Crop Sciences. So within the Soil and Crop Science department, as you can see at the bottom there, we have a lot of different ways in which you can utilize this major. So the first is crop breeding and genetics. That's a huge thing as we look at the ag industry moving forward, is how are we going to create new varieties of plants that produce higher yields and better protection. And one of those is through our breeding programs. So on CSU's campus, we actually have a wheat breeding program, which is super cool because you can walk through the plant sciences building, and every once in a while they'll be baking fresh bread based off of their breeding program, which is so fun. Additionally, we have crop production systems, soil ecology, microbiome sciences, precision agriculture, extension, and irrigation management. So those are just some few ways in which you can take your degree in soil and crop sciences and apply it to real world scenarios. We really focus on that critical science and technology demands that need to meet the future of our sustainable food practices. So we focus on engaging and developing strategies that can reverse climate change. We do this by integrating complex soil regeneration programs, as well as we do leveraging genetics, which develop resilient crops and optimize that water conservation. So throughout this major, not only are you doing those hands-on things, but you're also getting to learn some of that back-end stuff with water conservation data, as well as just through the analytics that you might use in an everyday career. Moving on to our Department of Ag Biology. As it says, there's 3 different concentrations there: entomology, plant pathology, and weed science. And in our Ag Bio major, my favorite part about it is that it's in 5 years instead of it's a 4-in-1, so that means that in 5 years, you actually leave here with your master's degree, which does give you a competitive edge within the industry. You know, we don't have a ton, so it's actually kind of a smaller major, which is very nice because you get that hands-on support and you're leaving here with that competitive edge that I mentioned before. So we really focus on creating global innovators because we want people to be able to build their critical knowledge and essential skills instead of just reverberating whatever they've heard in classes, actually being able to apply that in a real world setting. We try to focus on expanding the future of our global food supply and making sure that as we move forward as a society, we're able to effectively meet the needs of all of those around us. And as that says, you can major in one of these 3 concentrations, and they're so cool because you do get that hands-on learning so early on. These also offer minors, so a lot of the different people that I get to work with here in the College of Ag actually have an entomology minor, or majored in entomology, which doesn't seem like something that a lot of people would think of, but it's cool because our classes are so hands-on that people often just take like that intro to entomology class and end up changing their entire major around bugs. So that's just an example of how these super introduction level classes can really change the course of what you might be interested in, which is great because you get the chance to try all different things. Furthermore, moving on to our Department of Agriculture Resources, Department of Agriculture and Resource Economics. It's pretty lengthy. You can see that there's a lot of diverse applications of this department. So personally, I'm in that ag education major with that ag literacy concentration. So I'm proud to be a DARE student, and it's really great because you leave here again with that hands-on technology. Something that I'll talk about a little bit later is our trade and simulation room, but within even majors that aren't traditionally hands-on, that you're not traditionally out in a field for, you're getting hands-on experiences with the College of Ag. We really try to focus on solving those wicked problems, which if you don't know what that is, they're just problems with a lot of layers to them, like an onion that you have to peel back. So our goal within DARE majors is to create individuals that are prepared to tackle those issues and create better spaces for the world. We focus on really trying to bridge that gap between rural and urban spaces a lot of the time, especially within those ag ed majors. But you really do get the chance to interact with industry professionals so often. And because of the diversity of these majors, there's also a diverse application of these majors, whether that's in the capital, the classroom, a boardroom, on the farm, in the forest, or even in a processing plant. Our graduates are influencing and implementing practical solutions for our food supply and our economy. That bottom major down there, livestock business management, is actually a dual major between the Department of Ag and Resource Economics and the Department of Animal Sciences. So I actually have two people that I know who are in that major right now. Like I mentioned, it is the first year that it's up, so it's super exciting. But at the College of Ag, we're always focusing on student success and ways in which we can make our students have a more productive time here at CSU. So something that we noticed was that a lot of our students were double majoring in ag business and animal science, which is awesome. But they were also tending to stay here just a little bit longer. So we created this livestock business management major so that it kind of condensed those two programs and helped get students out into the field sooner if that's the way that they wanted to go, which was really big for us. It seems to be having a huge success, so we're really excited for it. Our last department is the Department of Animal Sciences. So we have those three, like you can see livestock business management at the bottom there. We also have just animal science and equine science. And then another big program that we have here within the animal science department is our meat science program, which you can see in that bottom picture. So there isn't a minor associated with these majors, but a lot of our students do dual major in them. So if that's something that you might be interested in, it's not something that's uncommon at all. And our advisors, our student success teams are very committed to making sure that our double majors have the opportunities that they need to help them succeed. Like all of our majors, but I would say especially within animal science, it is very hands-on learning. In your second week of classes as an animal science major, you are already out working with, cattle, for example. Same thing with our equine science majors. That is their introductory class to animal or equine science and livestock business management, is being able to go and actually work one-on-one with livestock. I don't know of many majors that you get to actually go work on the farm just as a second week as a freshman. So that's really awesome. We really try to be industry oriented as well. So we have a ton of huge partners within industry at the College of Ag. And so we really try to set up our students for success. Whether that's through internships, a lot of our College of Ag students have animals or have animal showing internships at the National Western Stock Show, or whatever kind of internship you might like. Our goal here is to try to help you succeed at those. Additionally, we try to focus, while on the industry, also on an approach to animal health, productivity, and shaping the future of sustainable agriculture. We try to be environmental stewards at the same time that we try to figure out how to feed the world in the best way possible. And we do that through all of these different things that you see here on the side of your screen with the breeding and genetics, livestock behavior and welfare, nutrition, etc. So it's a really great program because you do get so much hands-on experience. Now I want to shift gears a little bit and talk about our undergraduate research. So there's three big ways that the College of Ag supports undergraduate research. We've noticed that it's really important, whether that's for grad school or vet school or anything higher education, and even just into industry, that being able to have research as an undergrad is super important. So the first is faculty research. All throughout campus, but especially in the College of Ag, we have so many faculty that are always looking on to have undergraduates help them in the lab. And there's all sorts of different ways that this can look. So you can really diversify it to how you want your experience to be. Like if you want to be out working in the field, you can go to our ag research station and be able to go work there with them. Work with professors that you're seeing in classes, and also that helps build your professional relationship across campus. And there are also paid positions, which is a trend that you'll see throughout all of these research experiences, which is super important to college students. Also, we have our ag research stations. The state of Colorado is very, very diverse when it comes to agriculture across the state. And at the College of Ag, we noticed that And so we have 11 different research stations. Each one focuses on what is affecting that area at the time. So if you look down in that southwest corner, that's where I'm from, Cortez, Colorado. We have a very big issue with drought. And so that research station down there is actively working with water systems and figuring out how, as our state's land grant institution, with this mission to support our land and our ecology, how we can fix these sort of things. Additionally, they all provide summer internships, which are super cool. They also give you a $4,000 stipend, which, you know, as a college student, it's always hard to get a summer job and then you have to leave. This is great because not only are you advancing your bank account a little bit, but you're also advancing your professional experience and you're creating a name for yourself across the state. And we really try to make sure that as a student with any of these research opportunities, you are succeeding to the best of your ability. Lastly, we have the College of Ag Undergraduate Research Fellowship. So each and every year, we have a application that goes out, and the great thing about it is that it gives priority to students who have no research background. So, you know, I think with a lot of things, if you have a background, you're more likely to get that opportunity because people want to see that you have experience. But we also recognize at the College of Ag that you have to get your foot in the door somewhere. And so these are projects where the faculty submits what they are going to be working on, and then students apply for whatever project interests them. And then they get to spend up to 10 hours a week in a lab for that semester and make up to $2,000 for that semester working with faculty. And then that's a great resume builder, and it helps you get other research positions, which it gets you that foot in the door, which is super important. I want to talk about some of our clubs and organizations. So we have 29 different clubs and orgs. I put a few of them in here, like our Ag Council, Ag Ambassadors, Entomology Club, and our sororities and fraternities. So one of my favorite CSU facts is that the Entomology Club is actually the oldest running club on campus. We've been here for a really long time, so it's really cool because you just get to go and learn about the different bugs within the state and within the world with people who are also interested in those things. Similarly, we have our fraternities and sororities, as you can see in that big middle picture there. And those are just a really good chance to get to know other students in the College of Ag, as well as with our Ag ambassadors who focus on, you know, really bridging that gap between industry and students, which is super cool. As we have those 29 different clubs and organizations, which are all found on our website, there's something that I love about CSU is that it's super easy to start a club. So if we don't have something that you're interested in, it does not take very much. I believe it's you and 2 other people, and you can start a club based off what that is. You just get an advisor and a few friends, and you can truly work to build your experience in a way that benefits you both professionally and educationally, but in a non-formal setting. We also have a bunch of different competitive organizations. So at the College of Ag, we have 11 different student teams. So I put those up for you. We have horse judging, soil judging, seed stock merchandising, wool judging, livestock judging, meat animal evaluation, meat science quiz bowl, intercollegiate meat judging, animal welfare judging, dairy judging, and food distribution and research society case study. That last one, which is a lot of words, the Food Distribution and Research Society, our CSU team actually got to go to Washington, D.C. a few weeks ago because they ended up getting second at the national level. And they got to attend this super cool conference where they talked about how we're distributing food to the members of our society, and they got to create a research plan for how they were going to improve our systems, and they were actually able to get second at the national level. And those were our College of Ag students who were there representing us, which was very cool. Lastly, I want to move into our experiential learning spaces. So this is some of them that I put up. In that top corner, the classroom, that's our training and simulation lab. So it actually has real world applications with our market and industry. And that's cool because a lot of times with, maybe those more economics, math, um, based sort of majors, you don't think about getting hands-on research, but with this classroom, you're actually able to see how markets are reacting in real time and get to have hands-on learning in those situations. Um, we also have our plant growth facilities on campus. Our deck, which is that big one in the top corner, that's basically our campus farm. So you get to be out there working with livestock as well as working in the field if you do in soil and crop, which is super cool. Down in that bottom corner, that big glass building is our CSU Spur. So that's a new area. It's down in Denver. What's great about it is the goal of CSU Spur is to connect rural and urban people and create spaces for urban education within agriculture. So it's completely free to the public. There's 3 buildings. That's a building of Terra, which is our kind of more plant science and food science based building. But we also have Beta, which is for human and animal life, and then Hydro, which is for water and water systems across the state. Completely free to the public. Within there, we have all sorts of different opportunities for people, especially students, to get involved, which is really cool. And then as CSU students, a lot of our graduate programs actually have students come in and get to spend time, or with your capstone classes, you get to go and spend time there. If we have anybody who's looking to be a vet afterwards, we have a vet office there, and they take in and they basically do a bunch of surgeries at discounted costs. And what's great about it is that we get to help people with their livestock or with their dogs and cats, like small animal vet. At the same time, we get to teach students, little kids, about this, and they can say, oh, maybe I want to be a vet. I've never seen something like this before, but that interests me. And we get to help our CSU students interact with the public, interact with industry, and have practical hands-on learning. Same thing with that one next to it. That's our equine and sports medicine facility. And so it's the same thing where people get to come and watch, and you get to actively work with those livestock. We also have our JBS Global Food Innovation Center, which is here at CSU's campus. If you're more focused on that meat science side of things, then that is where you're gonna fit in awesomely. We have faculty that works there that is absolutely amazing. We hire students every single semester, higher than minimum wage, and you get to just go and fabricate and also give back to the community. We have a cafe at the food center, but then also we do a program called Beef Sticks for Backpacks. Last year, we gave away over 400,000 beef sticks to students in our community who are experiencing food insecurity. So that was a really great experience for CSU, and we do that every year just to help give back to our community. Lastly, we have the Temple Grandin Equine Center right there in that far corner. And that's an experience for you to do occupational and physical therapy using horses. So we get to have a lot of kids come in and learn like horsemanship, but then also learning how to, improve whatever it is that they may be struggling with through horsemanship, which is really great because we've noticed that when students get out and they're hands-on learning and they're getting to be a part of something bigger than themselves, it helps them learn a lot. I have a little bit more information about all of those here. So I just wanted to leave that slide up for a few seconds while I continue to talk about our experiential learning so that everyone can read through them. CSU and the College of Ag is very focused on hands-on learning. We want to make sure that you are succeeding as a student because everyone learns differently, and a lot of times you get the chance to be in a classroom. Not a lot of times do you get the chance to go learn with your hands in a practical setting. And since all of these things are so industry-based, we're helping you build connections for the future. We're helping secure you that job for when you graduate, which is super important to us at CSU. Alrighty, I would love to open it up for questions.
Thank you, Canberra. That was an excellent presentation. If you have questions, As was mentioned earlier, you can input them in the Q&A icon or section, and then we'll get those questions answered for you because we have Allie and Nicole monitoring those questions. While you're doing that, I have a couple of questions for you. Having recruited Cambria for the College of Agricultural Sciences, not only at the state level, but also at the national level, a lot of people knew about CSU because of Dr. Temple Grandin. Is Dr. Grandin still teaching?
Yeah, she is. So she teaches some of our equine science classes. She's on campus very often. You know, if she isn't out actively giving presentations, it seems like she's constantly here. Um, it's really cool because, like you mentioned, a lot of people know of agriculture because of Dr. Temple Grandin. And so every time, like, I've met her on so many occasions, but she'll walk by and I'm like, oh my goodness, it's a celebrity. And she is so nice. I'm not an equine science major, but I am trying to figure out with my graduation plan just how to take a class with her as the professor. Because based off of what I've heard, her different way of understanding makes people like it produces such a different and interesting class environment, such a way that you know wouldn't get with people who are maybe neurotypical. And so it's cool because she has such a different teaching style. Additionally, that JBS Global Food Innovation Center is based off of her designs. And so like that's really cool because we actually are using Dr. Temple Grandin's research in our facilities every day.
Excellent, thank you. Allie or Nicole, do we have questions from participants or questions that were sent in prior to the seminar, to our webinar starting?
Yeah, thank you so much, Cambria. And just real quick, I just put in the chat a link to all of the College Connection webinars that we've had. It's a YouTube playlist for both English and Spanish, and that's where our future videos will be, as well as this recording. So great presentation, Cambria. We do have a couple questions. So this one is, what advice do you have for someone considering CSU who is from a rural community and very small high school to feel comfortable moving to Fort Collins and attending CSU?
Absolutely. So I'm also from a small town, so I understand just how intimidating that can be. I will say, you know, CSU is a pretty big school, and that's kind of scary. We have about 33,000 people here. The College of Ag, on the other hand, only has about 1,700 students. So within your major, depending on what that might be, you really get the chance to engage directly with your peers and create that close community. And then if you're not looking to do an ag major, but you're still looking to come to CSU, I think on the opposite side of the College of Ag, I'm also in the College of Liberal Arts. And so that, like, political science is a gigantic major. I'm not even sure how many students are in there, but I would definitely recommend just talking to the people around you in class. It can be super intimidating, but it's something as simple as turning to the person next to you and saying, hey, like, how's it going? And starting up that conversation. Because the thing that I've noticed about CSU is that people here are so nice. And everybody, we have this saying, it's kind of corny, but we love it. It's called Rams take care of Rams. And so we are always, I feel like, looking out for each other. Something that was huge for me that I didn't expect when I came to such a large university was people holding the door for me. Like in Cortez, everyone grabs the door for everyone. That's just, I feel like, a part of our culture in small towns is you're like, oh, I gotta do this to be nice, you know? And I didn't expect that when I came to CSU. And now every single time I walk into a building, someone grabs the door for me. So it's those little things that I think make CSU, despite being big, still have that very tight community feel.
Thank you. While we're looking or waiting for others to ask questions, I should say, Cambria, you mentioned, I have another question. You mentioned that in the animal science major, the second week, and I believe you said also equine science, but animal science specifically, you said the second week they're already working with livestock. Where do they do that? Is that on campus? Is that at a close by farm or ranch, or how does that work?
So for equine science, when you're out working with our horses, you will be out at the Equine Science Center. It's about a 15-minute drive from campus, but we do offer transportation there. So that's not something that you necessarily have to worry about because it is off campus. But also, my roommate last year, she was an equine science major and she caught the bus, which is included in your fees. And they would take her there every morning. So you get that opportunity. Same thing with RDEC is we run buses out there and your class will have transportation out there. And so if you don't have a car or you are afraid of driving in the city, I know I was, you can also get the chance to do that. And that's about RDEC for our animal science majors is about 15 minutes north of campus. So you're either going 15 minutes west or 15 minutes north. But our professors are really good about making sure that you still get to classes on time after that. So you don't have to build in travel time because our professors are already doing that for you.
And Canberra, can you explain the acronym RDEC?
Yeah.
Please?
So RDEC is I'm so sorry, I'm spacing right now. That is our Agriculture Research, Development, and Education Center. Okay. And it's also the space of our ag education majors as well. So in terms of livestock and ag education, you're going to be spending a lot of time out there. It's one of our research stations that I mentioned. And so, no matter how you're looking to get involved, that is something that's available to you. And I was out there I was evaluating cattle last week. So you get the chance to really spend a lot of time out there, which is awesome.
Okay, Allison or Nicole, do we have other questions, either in the Q&A or the chat?
Yeah, looks like we have two other questions right now.
Okay.
Cambria, are you able to talk about any online program options in the College of Ag for people who feel like they can't leave their family farm or their ranch, but they still want a degree?
Absolutely. To be completely honest, that is not my area of specialty. And I wish that I had more information, but I'm not super well versed in CSU online. I know that we, in terms of a university, have a lot of different programs. If you email that's the CAS undergraduate recruitment team email with that question, then we'll get back to you by the end of the day with that information, just because I'm sorry that I don't know right off. Oh goodness, I was stagnant for too long. The lights turned off in my room. But but since I don't know that information off the top of my head, if you email me through that email, then I will get back to you by the end of the day.
Excellent. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. And
I
also just, I'm sorry, go ahead, Ruth. I was just going to say, I just quickly put the CSU online website in the chat, which does have all of our online degree options if anyone's interested in getting an online degree from Colorado State University. And there is one other question that I see for you, Cambria. What is your favorite part about the College of Agricultural Sciences?
It's always laughs here. I know that that's kind of corny, but I have had so much fun being here as a College of Ag student. I've made some of my best friends here, and whether that's through my classes or through working for the college. I would say that everyone is a kind presence to be around. Even our recruitment office, we have our two assistant deans in here and a bunch of people with big scary titles, but they are so kind, and that is something that I can put forth to everyone in the College of Ag. I would also say the different opportunities that I've been given. So I'm getting to study abroad next semester with the College of Ag. And so while I can't say that's my favorite thing yet, just because I haven't gone, that's something that's super huge to me, as a first generation college student, as somebody who probably I've never left the country before, and I'm getting to do it with not only the people that I'm constantly around, but all of my College of Ag scholarships. So I would say we really try to make those opportunities available for students, and I'm living proof of that.
Well, now you have me curious. Where do you get to study abroad, Cambria?
I'll be in New Zealand from February until the end of June. So I get to go study at their university. I get to travel around to all their different ag operations. They don't have classes on Fridays. So, like on Fridays, we get to go tour to specific operations on the island and actually learn hands on how New Zealand agriculture works.
Wonderful. We wish you the best with
Thank
that
you.
experience. I have another question, unless we have one in the Q&A or the chat, Allison or Nicole. Any others?
No,
Okay.
go for it, Ruben.
All right. I have to ask this, and I'm not joking. I mean, just point of clarification. It is a question though, because Colorado was the first state in the United States to legalize marijuana or cannabis. You mentioned weed science. Are students studying cannabis or is that noxious weeds?
That's noxious weeds. That's my bad for not clarifying that.
Okay.
However, we do have hemp production as one of our research projects out at our research station of RDEC. And so that is our noxious weed program.
Okay.
So identifying how to really like fight that battle between crops versus weeds themselves.
Okay. And then in visiting with high school students, when I mentioned the livestock business management opportunity, the first question that came up was because Colorado is cattle country, right? We're not in Iowa. We're not in the Middle East or the Middle West, I should say, where we're raising hogs. Is the focus on the livestock business management cattle, or is it all species, or I should say other species?
I would say it has a broad sense of other species. You know, it is kind of like if you took our animal science major and condensed it and our ag business major and condensed it. And our animal science major focuses a lot on all majors or all categories of livestock. I would say though, you know, when it comes to that practical setting and where you're going to be getting a lot of those practicum hours and doing your hands-on research, that's going to be a lot with cattle because like you mentioned, we are right next to Weld County, which is the largest ag producer in the state.
Yep.
And we spend a lot of time with cattle. But that being said, you know, I'm in a class this semester where I got to look at hogs, I got to look at lambs, and I got to look at cattle. So there's really that broad overview of it all.
Okay. And then a follow-up question to that. You mentioned dairy management or dairy. I don't think it was dairy science.
Yes.
Again, we don't have a dairy on campus anymore like we used to when it was Colorado A&M. But what are the experiences there that students can get, and why do we have that dairy? Again, excuse me, I don't know if it's a concentration or a minor, but that focus on dairy management.
Yeah, so that focus, it's a concentration. And in the same way that we have a lot of beef cattle in the area, we have a lot of beef cattle on the slope, on the western slope of the state, and some dairies as well. But out here, when you go east, you know, just 20 minutes, we have a lot of dairies. And so we do get the opportunity. One of my best friends is in a class right now, and I can't remember if it's a dairy class or a nutrition class, but they are actively, I think they were going out to dairies like every week or so within the area and getting to see how different operations work. So that's really important to us because it is still a very large ag industry and an industry within Colorado. So while we don't necessarily have a dairy on campus, we do have those really strong partnerships between different industry. So we get to actually go out to real world applications, not just, oh, this is how the university is doing it, this is the right way. We actually get to see how farmers are taking care of their cattle every single day and how, you know, A, B, and C works on different operations, which is really awesome.
Excellent. Any other questions? It looks like another one just popped up. Nicole, you want to do the honors?
Yeah, I'd love to. Thank you. What do College of Agricultural Sciences students like to do on the weekends or for fun?
Yeah, absolutely. So, you know, there's a lot of different stuff. It depends on the time of year too. So earlier in the year, we had a lot of different college rodeos going on. So a lot of our students went out and supported their peers at that. But I would say in addition to those experiences, we also offer a ton of internships, which maybe is a little bit less on the fun side, but just on the things to do side. And so like when it comes to National Western Stock Show, which if you don't know is one of the largest livestock shows in the country, and it's a huge event down in Denver, a lot of our students go down there, and even if you're not there for an internship, you can go and experience it and have fun. Or you can have an internship. Like I have one, I get to go help with the more executive side of like helping our special guests, but then my roommate is helping with our junior livestock shows. I would say also, whether like in the spring and early fall, we have a lot of opportunities to be outdoors here. So Horsetooth Reservoir is 10-15 minutes away from campus, and so a lot of people go out there and go swim, go boat, go fish, whatever that may be. And then there's also a ton of hiking. I would say in terms of just broader CSU as well, we have a bunch of intramural sports and stuff like that. So if you want to, you know, go learn to rock climb, you can do that. If you want to go play softball with a bunch of your friends, then you can create that team and go do that. So there's all sorts of different opportunities to get involved. I wouldn't say maybe necessarily college specific unless you're looking for clubs and organizations. A few weeks ago was the president of our Farm Bureau Club here on campus, and so we got to go and experience their annual meeting. So we got to go down to Denver for the weekend. It was completely paid through the club, and we got to learn about industry, learn about real like grassroots issues that are affecting our Colorado ag communities and our rural communities. And then like we also got to compete in one of their problem solving competitions. So there's all sorts of different opportunities to have fun and get involved with the people around you.
Excellent. Thank you, Cambria. Nicole and or Allison, any other questions in the Q&A or the chat?
No, I think that wraps it up for now.
Okay,
Yeah, thank you so
wonderful.
much, Cambria.
Yes, thank you again, Cambria. That was phenomenal. All that information is so useful, and we hope that people who are participating live and or they're going to watch a recording, that you'll share the link with others, because again, there's so much information there. Again, Cambria is a perfect example of a student coming from a small Colorado community, and now she's going to New Zealand to study abroad for a semester. So again, we wish you the best with that, and thank you, Cambria.
And if any other questions do arise, that email is on the screen right now, at least it ought to be. And just that goes out to my team here at the College of Ag, and we have people checking that every hour, so it should be answered within the end of the day.
Excellent. Thank you.
Thank you.
Would like to remind everyone that our next installment of College Connection will be on the second Wednesday of January, not the first. So on January 10th, we're going to be hearing from a representative from the College of Liberal Arts. Until then, we wish you happy holidays, safe travels if you're traveling to be with family and or friends. And until next month, we look forward to hearing from you if you have additional questions for Cambria or any of us. Thank you so much.